Boy, oh boy, the BIA Podcast is back. Man, what a weekend. What a weekend of games. What a game. We've got a lot to talk about. And we are coming up on the game. Not this weekend, obviously, but it's going to be some interesting things that we may be talking about here. But Phil, what's on your mind? How you feeling?
Hey man, I like that new hat you got on there. What's it say?
National champions 2025.
Nice.
Did it say
nice,
2020?
nice.
What,
A reminder.
2025? Maybe that's why it was on sale.
From China. But yeah, shout out to the Buckeyes champions. I mean, I think what's on a lot of Buckeye fans' mind right now, which maybe you can give your sort of feeling, your temperature on this, is the injuries. An easy game in terms of the score, never really a doubt at this point for the last few weeks and next week included. It's just going to be trying to get out clean, get out safe, get out unhurt.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can say that we necessarily did that on Saturday. So, I mean, just for those, in case you know what I'm referencing, we had some injuries from Carnell Tate, who didn't play second game in a row. Jeremiah Smith played the beginning of the game, but then sat out for maybe the majority of the game, but maybe at least a half of the game. And then we had Julian Sand, who did not sit out, but did look a little gimpy after a arguably late hit on him in the third quarter. And so there are some levels of anxiety around Buckeye Nation. Justin, what is your level of anxiety?
You mean a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest?
Scale from 1 to 10.
I would say that I'm at about. I'd say I'm halfway. I'm halfway there. In part,
so 5.
Yeah, I'm at a 5. I would say just because I think that there's like 50% that this could be very minor, and then it's like 50% it could be something where it is major as we move forward. Because the games are not going to get any easier. I would love to see people sitting out against Rutgers, and I would feel fine. I think that my anxiety level would be at a 0 if, during the Rutgers game, the beginning of the game, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are not out there, because I think my thought would be, dang, this is going to be an opportunity for them to get some rest, give the young guys an opportunity to play against Rutgers, and I think it would be doable. I think that it would be it would be a win, at the end of the day, and I think it would be manageable. But if we go into that Michigan week and they're questionable, then obviously I think everybody's anxiety level will skyrocket. So that's where I'm at. Now, I will say, just real quick, being at the game, the main person I saw, was Jeremiah Smith. He did not play part of that second quarter we sat basically where the players' tunnel, entrance and exit is, and when the players were coming off the field, he was not jogging off regularly. He was like on his heels, like I don't know, like a penguin or something. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And then when they
like Lamar Jackson when he had to,
you said yes,
emergency exit.
And he came back. And Lamar came back though.
Lamar came back. Sometimes you gotta do the do.
And when they came back onto that field, and Jeremiah Smith looked the same, I'm like, bro, okay, so he's not going to play the rest of the game, and that's what ended up happening. So, yeah, just wanted to mention that.
I think they're going to be questionable going to the Michigan game. I mean, on some hand, there's some tactical advantage to Michigan not knowing whether or not they have to prepare for Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Like, you think about their defensive game plan coming in, and they're like, we don't know who's going to play. And I think that if they're not playing, you would probably see more of a reliance on the run game. We saw a reliance on the run game against UCLA. We had over 200 yards rushing. We had our highest rushing output. I think that certainly is a concentration of the coaching staff right now, given the struggles, but it's also not a coincidence that it happens on the same day where we don't have our top 2 wide receivers for most of the game. So I think, hey, our best guys are out. Let's try to rely on this offensive line, rely on this run game. And so that makes sense. I think you'll see a lot of that on Saturday against Rutgers. And then I think for the Michigan game, I don't see a world where, like, if the Monday after Rutgers that like Ryan Day is like coming out in the first press conference and saying Jeremiah's 100%, Carnell's 100%, they about to get active against Michigan. This is going to still be the same kind of like, well, we're just day by day. They're doing their best to be ready, all that kind of stuff. And we're not going to know if that's real or fake. I hope that it's fake. And I hope that it makes Michigan have to spend a little bit more time on their run defense. And then we go out there and play air raid style the whole game. That's what I hope. I think that's the best case scenario, because I don't think, if you're a Buckeye fan who's anxious, I don't think you're going to get anything from this team on Saturday or from Ryan Day and coaching staff throughout the week, next week, that tells you for sure these guys are fine.
That's a great point. I think that is definitely a strategic tactic, and we need all of the tactics that we guess we can get at this point. And we're able to afford that, though. What's crazy is that we're able to afford the luxury of not having them play, for one, and then coming out and saying, hey, they may not be playing, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're going to play in the Michigan game.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that, and I told you this, that in the UCLA game, our receivers, the young guys who came in, Graham, Rogers, who did end up getting a touchdown off of a, sort of like a scramble drill opportunity when he was one-on-one with a corner. Just looking at them downfield after Jeremiah Smith went out, not a lot of separation. I think, though, that one of the things that you brought up to me about that was that fact that Julian Sand didn't get a lot of reps, probably doesn't get a lot of reps with those guys in practice. And I think you said that Julian Sand was asked that, and that wasn't one of the, if that was a concern, or that was one of the reasons why there wasn't any chemistry between them. They're going to get some reps this week. This is like their Super Bowl, if you think, and I know it's against Rutgers. I'm talking about the young receivers and the young guys being able to come out and prove, like, it is senior day. That's one thing to note. Like, this is basically Carnell Tate's last game in the shoe. And, will he get in for maybe a series just to sort of maybe fine tune some things, warm up?
That'd be great.
I don't know. But one last.
That's best case scenario.
Yeah. One last maybe touchdown drive, one last touchdown catch for him. We'll see. And then sit him down. Sit him down, put him in street clothes in the second half, and just, if it's been, your time has been great. We really appreciate your time at Ohio State, Carnell Tate. So
that will be, if that's true, if that's what happens, then I take back what I say about the anxiety going into the Michigan week. I'm assuming that they don't play.
Mm-hmm.
If they play and just play the first drive, or, a couple drives and then sit out, I think that's a different story. I think that you would be able to watch and see if he's playing. We don't even know what's wrong with Carnell Tate, for real. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing about that. We don't actually know the issue. And so, again, we have to only speculate. But if he plays, you'll be able to watch him and see if he looks like he's playing 100%. We've seen him play really well this year, so we know what a healthy Carnell Tate looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So, any concerns going into the Rutgers game for you?
Chat, what are you talking about, man?
Any
Come on, Chat. You talking about concerns about Rutgers?
Rutgers.
No concerns about Rutgers. It's I mean, Rutgers is known for having a couple of gadget or trick plays. Um, they did that like through the legs, like handoff end around last year. I think it was last year. Um, so Rutgers has had some. They've gotten some like big yardage on us in years past, but I'm not concerned about anything on the scoreboard. Um, I'm only concerned with seeing what Julian Sand looks like. I think he has a little bit to prove, especially if those 1 and 2 receivers don't play. Um, the only knock that haters had about Julian Sand, which I don't think is fair, but it was like, well, of course he's doing that. I could do that too if I had Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, right? That's like, the argument against an Ohio State quarterback when you're at wide receiver U. Well, he didn't play amazing in that second half with those backup wide receivers, and so I'm interested. I'm not concerned. I'm interested to see if he's able to put with the week of practice a good performance in with these backups. It might actually help bolster his Heisman campaign if he's able to go out there and do it without his number 1 and 2 guys. That would kind of shut people up and maybe give him an edge over Mendoza. So I'm interested to see if he's able to do anything. But no, I have no concerns. It's like Ohio State versus itself.
That's an excellent point. Okay. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get to the score prediction. This is not going to be a look-ahead game, even though it is a game before a huge game. I can go first here. I've got Ohio State beating Rutgers 31-3. I'm not giving them a touchdown. Kyle Monungai was on their team, was the running back that did that gadget play that you.
Oh, last year?
Whatever year they did it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they had an NFL running back.
Monungai is currently on my fantasy team. He had to be pulled into the starting rotation last week. Did get a touchdown, not very many yards. I just benched him though. Sorry, Kyle. For Rutgers week, going back on the bench, buddy. Going back on the bench. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go 38-7.
38-7. Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna lie. The 2s and 3s in the defense have been giving up these late touchdowns in these games towards the end of the season. So, I think both in UCLA game and in the Purdue game. So I'm not as confident in their ability to stop a garbage time score.
Okay. Well, Buckeye Nation, we shall see. And, of course, I think one of the main topics right now, this time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming up, and the college football playoff. We need hashtag college football playoff. This the debates, the matchups, the potential matchups. There's nothing else like it. Like, they don't even do this in college basketball, where you may talk about who would be like a number 1 seed or number 2 seed, but everything else is pretty much sort of, that and the first 4 in and first 4 out. That's the one thing that's debatable, I think. Most debated in college basketball when it comes to a seeding for a tournament. When it comes to the college football playoff, we were talking here, right before we started recording about just where the matchups are currently. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to you in terms of which game or potential game, mind you, because there's nothing that's set in stone until after championship weekend, or championship Saturday. So which potential matchup do you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, I think that to me the thing that's least set in stone, actually, which is interesting because for the rankings overall, the top 3 have been unchanging for a very long time. Top 4 right now with Georgia in there aren't not surprising, might not shift. But when it comes to the actual final rankings, those are going to shift because teams are going to play each other. Mm-hmm. Like most likely those 4 teams will play each other. in conference championship games, and so we don't know who's going to be the 1, 2, 3, and 4. But in terms of the other matchups, to me, the Alabama versus Oregon, that's currently a 10-7 matchup, is the most intriguing. I think Alabama still is a good team. It did just lose to Oklahoma, but they're a team that offensively, I mean, at least passing wise, is pretty explosive. Oregon's been really good against the pass. They actually haven't given up, I think, over 200 yards passing this entire season to any quarterback. So that would be a really good matchup to see Oregon's pass defense against Alabama and Ty Simpson. And so that's a 7-10. And then the 8-9 matchup, which is always going to be a good matchup. It was a good matchup last year with Ohio State being 8 and Tennessee being 9. It seems like it's going to always end up being like a power team that like had a loss they shouldn't have taken, but it's still a really good team. So that matchup right now is the 8 seed is Oklahoma, again fresh off a win against Alabama, and then Notre Dame is a 9 seed, a team that a lot of people feel like, 8 weeks ago people were saying they shouldn't be in the playoffs, and now people are saying, hey, they're one of the teams that could actually win the whole thing. And so that's the matchup. Currently, with Ohio State being number 1, we would play the winner of that 8-9 matchup between Notre Dame and Oklahoma. So I think those are two fun matchups, two matchups I can't say for sure who would win. But if you look at those two winners play the 1 and 2 seed. And so if Ohio State wins out, we'd be playing in that 8-9 matchup.
I like how you brought up that stat about Oregon's pass defense not giving up over 200 yards, is it? That'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend as they go against USC. Because I'm thinking after you said that, I'm like, who was the best quarterback they've played this year? I can't really.
Mendoza.
Oh, so they still didn't even give up 200 yards in that game. Oh, so yeah, that absolutely is just flat out the answer because that's the team they lost to. So that's interesting. That's really interesting.
That game was a weird game, and they got a pick 6. Like they were doing some okay things, but their offense also wasn't strong. Indiana's defense played really well in that game. That game was probably more defensive than people expected going in.
Well, I think that the most intriguing matchup is intriguing in terms of seeing an SEC team travel out west to play Oregon at Autzen. Now, I would imagine out of all of those games, it's going to be interesting to see what time slot, which one gets that nighttime on Saturday time slot. Would it be?
Well, they're a West Coast team, so it feels like they have a better shot at getting them.
But yeah, so in terms of let's talk about the potential matchup of Oklahoma Notre Dame and what that means for Ohio State. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that. Now, I'm not saying that I think that we would lose those games, but I just think that looking at those teams in that first round, I think Oklahoma has the best defense. Would you agree or disagree?
Of all the teams that play in the first that don't have a bye,
yes,
I would say Texas Tech has an argument there.
Okay.
But yeah, Oklahoma also definitely a strong defense.
Okay.
I think Oklahoma is the best defense in the SEC.
I wish that I would kind of wish that Texas Tech would switch with one of those with Notre Dame. Or,
I know people. I think it's easy because Texas Tech is in the Big 12. They haven't been good in a very long time, so I think it's easy to look at that and just say like that would be an easy win. But I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Okay.
But yeah, Oklahoma best defense in the SEC.
Okay, let's say they win. They play Ohio State. Wherever we decide, the preference is going to go to us because we would be the number 1 seed. Offensively, I don't know if they'd have anything. I forget how many weeks of rest go in between that first round and the second round, but I think it might be like a 10-day window or something like that. John Mateer, I was loosely watching the game, and I don't know if Mateer is still not 100%. I would imagine, at this point, nobody who's playing any starter on any college football team is not 100% because of the physicality of the game. But I just don't. I don't know. I think we'll be fine, but I just don't like the defensive matchup that challenge that Brent Venables would basically pose against us. Now, I do. This is the one part of that matchup I do like. Um, is the fact that their defense is probably good enough that they will play us one-on-one on the outside, and nobody can beat us one-on-one on the outside. Nobody, at least these past 2 seasons, has proven they can beat us one-on-one on the outside. And then Notre Dame, I'm not really, I'm not really scared about Notre Dame, but I just don't. I just feel like they're kind of a scrappy team. It would be a little bit of a headache game. I feel like we might pull away late, or they might get that late comeback like they did in the national championship game. That's about it. And Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love is a good running back. He's not, in my opinion, he's not the best in the country, but he's one of the best.
Is? Who is?
Man, I don't know his name.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not because it's not. It's just because of the running back from Missouri.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got a lot of yards, but I feel like Love is just so like versatile and so strong, and we've also seen him do it in the biggest games. We've seen him on one leg like mess up Penn State. I don't know. To me, I'm surprised. To me, I think Notre Dame is a way scarier team than Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of Oklahoma. I honestly, I think the Brent Venables thing is overplayed. Like Oklahoma has not been the best defensive team in the country for the last 3 years since he's been there. Like that's not the story of Oklahoma's defense. They're having a good year this year, but it's still not like that scary to me. And offensively, John Mateer last week he said in that game that you feel like earlier you told me you believe that they're a better team than Alabama. John Mateer stats, he had 135 passing yards, 0 touchdowns. He had 24 rushing yards. This man, like he's washed. He was good against Michigan. He's been washed. They offensively they don't pose the same threat that Notre Dame has. Notre Dame also is playing better in the passing game, better than they were last year, with CJ Carr at quarterback, who's playing pretty well, who's also played well in big games. Like I think that's true. Even the games they lost in the beginning of the season, he played pretty well in those games, and so they've got some better receivers this year than they had in the past. So to me, when I see that matchup, I'm not fretting about no Oklahoma. Michigan was in that game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I mean, I get it. Brent Venables is a good coach, but that defense, to me, is less talented than Notre Dame. So I would be just as scared as I would of Oklahoma's defense with Notre Dame's defense, and I think Notre Dame has a much better and more balanced offense.
It was the Missouri running back was Ahmad Hardy.
And y'all, chat, he don't believe that he's better than Jeremiah Love. I'm telling you, Jeremiah Love is better. This man, he don't believe that. He had a huge game last week. I get it, a lot of yards. Come on, man.
All right. Well,
let's be real. We'll see what the NFL thinks.
Yeah, I think okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, just bringing up the drafts. Draft expert Phil the Thrill. Well, hey, listen, it's all potential. It's great for debate. It's great to sort of just give opinions. We know that things are going to change. Things almost changed for Texas A&M. They almost lost that game at home against South Carolina. Just a bizarre game. Bizarre game. The second half was all Texas A&M. I've never seen a game like. I mean, it's not that I can't say I've never seen a game like that. I feel like I see more of those types of games in the NFL than I do in college. But South Carolina seemed like they could barely get a first down after basically being up by over 20 points. It's like 30-something points actually in that first half. 27 points. 27-point lead. Is Beamer still employed at South Carolina? Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hey, all right. Well, I'm not sure if any of the teams that we're gonna choose here are gonna have a 27-point lead. And in pick six, but I hope that they end up cashing. I'm just gonna say that for myself. But pick six is coming up next. And now it's time for pick six, where we got two locks, two toss-ups, two upsets. We will quickly go over the week before.
Did we play last week? Oh yeah, we did. I forgot.
We did play last week, Phil. I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, man.
I gotta pull up the spreadsheets. I don't remember all of these. It's called pick six, right? So from my recollection, I didn't lose. No misses. All hits. You know what I'm saying? Like the Michael Jackson catalog, baby. All hits, baby. Told Justin to beat it. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, the lock hit, the upset was Arizona. Shout out to the Wildcats. Clemson came through for me too in the ACC. And yeah, never a doubt for Notre Dame. That game was over from the first quarter.
Yeah.
Made some real money on that one too. So shout out to Pat Narduzzi, who told the whole public, hey, I don't care if we lose this game by 100. I'm betting that every single time. So yeah, good week.
Good week. Yeah, great week, man. Congrats on going 3 for 3. The only thing that was able to hit for me was our game against UCLA. Louisville did not. I can't be mad at Louisville. They were in the game. They lost by 1 point. Missed them terribly. I will say that. The 2 field goal attempts were just awful in that fourth quarter. And then Northwestern over Michigan. I mean, what are you going to do? It wasn't a blowout. Northwestern played them tough. As Ryan Day used to say, they're a tough team. And
Tough team.
Michigan, I mean, how many turnovers? 4 or 5?
I think it might have been 5.
Coming off of a bye week. Just let that sit. And so that game, Michigan won that game by 2. But again, what are you going to do, man? Just move forward. Just got to ante up for this next for this 2-week run here. So let's get it.
All right, man. Well, looking at this upcoming week, this week is known as the Cupcake Week for the SEC. A lot of teams playing teams like Samford and Fort Furman. You actually can't get a lot of odds on those games because they're so lopsided. So I'm going to start off actually with a toss-up. Not as many close games in this penultimate week of college football. So I'm going to go with a 3-point spread. I'm going to go to the ACC. I'm going to go with Cal playing Stanford at Stanford. Cal is favored by 3 points. I think they're going to win it. Give me the Bears. The Bears.
Rivalry game.
Yeah. Old traditional Pac-12 rivalry that somehow is now in the ACC.
Well, I thought you were going to pick my game. I'm happy you didn't. I'm going to the ATL. Give me my beloved Yellow Jackets over Pitt.
That was going to be my lock, actually. But I won't take it anymore. But I was saving it for my lock.
Okay. I appreciate that.
I'm kind, chat.
Well, speaking of locks, let's go ahead and get to the locks.
Okay, get to the locks.
I think that for this game, I'm going to go to the Big Ten. I'm going to head up north to Wisconsin.
Damn.
And
this dude. Man.
And I'm going to take The Illinois Fighting Illini minus 7.5.
Don't cancel me, chat. Wow. Okay, so you took my primary lock, and then you took my backup lock.
Mind you, we do not talk about these picks ahead of, so I did not take anything.
Nasty work. Nasty.
And that's 7.5.
Okay, man. Okay. I don't like that. All right. All right, I'm gonna lock up Washington versus UCLA. Washington's on the road at UCLA. UCLA is hemorrhaging. The season's pretty much over. And Washington actually did get a win last week.
Big win. They won by a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. They won 49-13. So after having just lost to Wisconsin. So I think they still have a chance to salvage their season, and they want to be playing well going into their last week, their rivalry game against Oregon. So I've got them being able to cover the 10.5 on the road.
It's a Big Ten after dark.
Yep. Unfortunately, it sucks having to wait to see if your bet hits, but hopefully it's done in the first quarter. All right. So for my upset, I am going to stay on the best coast.
Go ahead, man.
Fight on, y'all. Give me USC over the Oregon Ducks. Just hyped up Oregon's past defense, but they ain't seen no Makai Lemon. Okay. So I've got USC being able to win. They're a 9.5-point underdog. I think it's just too many points, to be honest. I think that spread should be a little bit lower. USC is not great on the road, but most of their road games are not on the West Coast. Most of their road games are traveling halfway or all the way across the country, given the fact that they play in the Big Ten. So I've got them being able to pull an upset. This will also make it way more exciting for the Big Ten championship race. If they win this game, USC, they could still potentially go to the Big Ten championship. Like, they are basically a couple of wins away from a potential like top seed in the playoffs if they can win out. So give me the Trojans.
That was my pick.
I hope it was. I hope that it was.
That was my pick, man. And I think it was the most likely upset. However, it is tough to play at Autzen. So
Indiana did it. If Indiana can do it, USC can do it.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to.
Come on, bud.
I'm gonna have to go out on a limb here, and I gotta pick maybe the next likeliest possibly. This team is going to be playing for a bowl game. Give me Kentucky over Vandy. Kentucky's 5-5. And Vandy's still not playing bad. Possibly playing for a playoff spot. Possibly, depending on how everything else shakes out. This game is in Nashville, but man, honestly, I'm just picking it because I need to. I know all the rest of these. I don't like the Arkansas over Texas. I don't like my Virginia Tech over Miami. I just don't like any of these other potential. Now, I did look at this Nebraska versus Penn State. Honestly, I kind of wish I could switch to that one if I could switch to one, but I think that Penn State's fighting for their lives to make a bowl. If there's something that they're playing for, they're trying to play for, their interim coach, this is probably their last home game. Let me see real quick. I think so. Yeah, their last game is at Rutgers. So yeah, give me the Wildcats. So as a recap, for my lock, I've got the Fighting Illini minus 7.5 as they go on the road to face the Wisconsin Badgers. For my toss up, give me the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets over the Pitt Panthers. And for my upset, give me the University of Kentucky over Vandy.
Okay, for my lock, I've got Washington beating UCLA and covering a 10.5 point spread. For my toss up, I'm going with Cal over Stanford. And my upset, I've got USC going into Austin, fighting on, beating the Oregon Ducks.
And also just want to note that the score is Phil 18 and I have 12. So we shall see what happens this week. You can watch some of our content on TikTok at BIA.pod. That's BIA.pod. Enjoy week 13. I'm Hugie. That's Phil. OH.
I.O. Go Bucks.